Purpose over profit, man. That is the key. A lot of times in life, we focus on the lack, right? The lack of money, the lack of resources, the lack of abundance in general. And we let our drive be the focus on lack. And what that does is it drives us to making rash decisions, doing things we normally wouldn't do that really don't align with the character of the person that you are. That's how people fall into scams. That's how people fall into unscrupulous activity. But what you got to do is focus on the purpose and the results will come. So that's what we're going to be talking about today on Discipline Talks. I did take the weekend off. I took Saturday and Sunday off. It is what it is. No excuses. I just took it off. I don't have an excuse. I just did. But we back at it. Man, let's get to it.
Okay, so it's all about purpose over profit. The average man wants to see the money, wants the results, wants the shredded body, right? All the great outcomes of all the great people, okay? But you got to put the reps in, you know? We always are looking for an easy fix. That's why people get into things like scamming. It's easy to scam, relatively speaking. Of course, you got to know a little something. It's a little skill in scamming, you know, a little persuasion in scamming. But it's a conniving way to acquire money, period, right? And a lot of people want to have a six-pack without really knowing what it takes, without eating correctly for 6 months, 3 months at least. Not even 30 days, without hitting the gym, without tracking your macros, without changing just the processed food in your diet. We just want the result, the end result, right? That's what stops a lot of people from going to school. It's not just the fact that school is not necessary, because school is necessary for certain people, certain, careers you get into. But the actual idea of having to go to school for 4 years and then maybe possibly another 3 years to get a secondary degree, a master's, whatever, a PhD, depending on what you're into, that's the barrier of resistance that stops people from pursuing certain things. So they're looking for an easier way. If some of those things are not your ambition, that's different, right? But truthfully, whatever you're trying to do in life, that's something high level, you're going to have to really put the work in, no matter what. But the problem is, we always want the result. We always want the outcome, We're not willing to delay gratification or anything like that. We got to stop just chasing the money. Because when you chase money, that's when you get into doing things you don't really want to do. Pursuing things that you don't really want to pursue. Because the outcome is quicker than doing the thing you really want to do. If you're building a YouTube channel, you start off with 0 followers, subscribers. You're not going to make any money. Even if your first video, hits 100,000, you're not going to make no money right away. You have to have 4,000 watch hours, 1,000 subscribers to get monetized. And that's going to take time. Some people can get monetized in 1 week. Some people, it may take 2 years. Literally. You got to have it in your mind that I am going to rinse and repeat every single day until I get the desired result that I want. Because I'm not going to focus on the result. I'm going to focus on the process. When you focus on the process, the results will come. Because sometimes we hit these magical moments where you hit lightning in a bottle and let's go back to YouTube again. You posting videos every day or 3 times a week or, once a week, whatever your frequency is. And you keep doing it. Within that process, you're getting better. You're figuring things out. You're not just going through the motions. You're being a practitioner of what you're really into. So you look up, it could be your 10th video, or it could be video 100. And all of a sudden, you get the views. But it may start off with getting 2 views, 5 views, 0 views, 1 view. And that 1 view might be you. But are you willing to stick it out? Because a lot of times when you don't get instant results, that's what discourages you from keep going. That stops you. That makes you say, you know what, I need to chill. I don't want to do this. This is not working. You're right, it's not working. It's not working because you expect something before your time. Everybody's time is different. Just because he posted a video his first time and got 100,000 views, it doesn't mean that's going to happen for you. And it may never happen for you. But when you are actually in a habit and in a motion of doing things that are in your benefit of process, when you are doing things that are enhancing your purpose, it doesn't matter when the outcome comes. It's going to happen. You just have to be steadfast and strong enough to stick it out until it does happen, right? When you enjoy the work, the results are secondary. You have to focus on being the kind of man that has the success instead of focusing on the success. And what does that look like? When you see a person waking up at the same time every day, 5 a.m., getting up, giving thanks to the Most High, cleaning himself, brushing his teeth, leaving out, heading to the gym, or doing deep work, or going to your job, and whatever routine you have, and you do this every day, and every day, it builds a certain level of character. It builds a certain level of resilience, right? And when you look at yourself and your progress over time, from when you start having this routine to where you are now, maybe 5 months later, maybe 2 months later, maybe a year later, right? Look at how much progress you have made. Look at your body, right? Look at your bank account, because you've been saving every month or every week, and you end up compounding, and you look up and you got $10,000 saved, and you never did that before. You didn't worry about what the bank account was saying. You said, okay, I have this goal that I'm going to stack up $10,000, and I'm going to try to do $100 a week or $250 a week or whatever frequency it is, and I'm going to do it until. And let's say it's a week you can't do it, or that you can't do as much. You still add on whatever you can, and then you just keep going. And one day you're going to look in that account, and that $10,000 will be there, because the habit is what eventually creates the result. All you got to do is focus on the actual habit of doing the thing that you want to do, right? Just focus on the habits that make you the person who you're supposed to be. The results will show up. The results will come, okay? But the one thing you got to understand is that purpose has to be your driving force. Why are you doing this? What is the reason? So a lot of times that we have these certain goals or aspirations, a lot of it is rooted in vanity. A lot of it is rooted in the fact that I just want to stun on somebody. I just want to, you know what I'm saying, I want to pull up on these girls because they used to think I was dirty, and and you're not really thinking about, like, is that really the reason why you want this nice car? Is that really the reason why you want to have all this money? Is that the real reason why you want success? Because if that's the real reason, then maybe your priorities are not in order, right? A lot of times we're doing things for vain reasons and wondering why we're not achieving what we're supposed to achieve, okay? So that's what you got to be mindful about. Your purpose. It's really about your purpose. What are you trying to do with what you're doing? Are you trying to affect lives? Are you trying to become a better person? Are you trying to be a role model for somebody else, right? Are you trying to leave a legacy? Your legacy is more important than the money that comes from leaving a legacy. So when you focus on your purpose, I'm trying to be a great man of God. When you focus on your purpose, that's what's going to keep you in the game. That's what's going to keep you on your grind. And that's what's going to keep you trudging forward to do what you got to do every single day. All right? And that's why discipline is greater than motivation, because your purpose will get you up out of bed better than being motivated. You have to build your discipline muscle. You have to build your discipline muscle, because if you don't, you're going to rely on motivation. You're going to be looking like, man, I don't feel like it. I don't want to do that, right? And your emotions get in the way of your progress. And it becomes a cyclical problem. And then you end up looking back and realizing, like, I never did what I said I was going to do. So many times in my life, I have made incremental, progress in something, and then I give up. And then I'm back at point zero, I'm starting right back in one. Well, it's 11 days in. I have been fasted for 11 days, not eating any food since before 5 p.m. on Thursday of May the 1st. Yeah, May 1st, Thursday. Last time I ate. I started my fast at 5 p.m., right? So it's almost coming up on the 11th day. It's almost coming up on the 11th day at 5 p.m. It'll be 11 days. Fasted. No food. And I told myself that I will not eat any food, any solid food, until I drop 50 pounds. Yesterday, I made, my wife and my family for Mother's Day a meal. I cooked. I haven't cooked in a while, but I cooked honey chipotle chicken. Got the recipe from Mr. Make It Happen off YouTube. They loved it. I don't even know how it tastes. I didn't even taste it. I'm talking about I made some sauce. I didn't even get not on the tip of my tongue or nothing. I didn't taste anything. I made Mexican rice. I didn't taste it. I had the discipline enough. Normally, in the past, I would have definitely just given in, Within these last few years, the way I've been kind of, wavering back and forth with my discipline, I would have definitely given in. But my purpose and my why is so strong right now and really just my level of just being fed up. I'm just so fed up with just mediocrity, right? Because I've been in this season of mediocrity for too long, and I'm not a mediocre person. I wasn't always a mediocre person. So me having this level of mediocrity right now has been eating me alive. And I know my son, he's at that age, he's 18, and I'm really trying to make sure he doesn't become mediocre and that he's not mediocre the rest of his life, right? I want him to level up at all times. But who better to see in your life to level up than your parent, right? And to realize, like, man, my parent, my father did what he said he was going to do. Like, being a man of your word. I'm telling my kids all of these good things and teaching them how to be. And they're not seeing the evidence in my life. So how are they going to believe that what I'm saying is right? I'm not saying it's all on me for them to turn out correct, but that's where it starts. I'm the example. I have to be the example. So I've taken this so seriously where, like, I'm not letting up until I achieve what I achieve. I'm not letting up. I'm starting this coaching business. I'm going to start my clothing brand. I'm working on it actively at all times. I'm losing the weight. I'm hitting the gym, getting my steps in on the days that I'm walking. All of that. It's happening because I have to do it. It's no choice for me. It's my purpose. So that's why you got to have a purpose to drive you to your success rather than the outcome, rather than the money, rather than the profit. That's what's important. That's what we got to understand, right? As you can see in this video, I've added some workout clips, from this morning in the gym. I'm getting to it. My next weigh-in is on Thursday. It's Monday right now. We're going to see what the results are. Started at 305. Last Thursday, I was at 288. This Thursday, who knows where I'll be. Maybe I'll be at 170. Maybe I'll be at 175. I don't know. But I'm going for my goals, bro. I got to get it. We locked in. It's due season. Leave a comment if you stayed this long, okay? Leave a comment. Drop the words locked in if you're really locked in, if you're ready to do something great, all right? It's your boy, Carl Anthony. Peace.